It's your old friends at Monday Madness, and welcome back to the Jelly-Filled Donut Podcast.
Here we go again.
Here we go again, indeed. So we are on episode 22 of our watch-along of the Indigo League, the Pokemon series that we all remember from our childhoods.
Absolutely.
With the biggest rose-tinted glasses we could find. But in fairness,
these were a good set of episodes.
we're on a good set here. I have to say, we just said goodbye to Butterfree because we don't need him. We don't need him again now for the rest of the series, and we're never gonna look back and go, what would Butterfree have done in this
I don't
situation?
think we even hear any reference to him again.
No, he's retconned.
Yeah.
Completely. Like literally, he's gone to live in a farm, James. And that's all we need to know.
What are you talking about? You never had a Butterfree?
No, never had a Butterfree. And anyone who says that's a complete liar. And yeah, so the next few episodes we're going to be talking about are all in the same arc, excitingly enough. This is the start of the Sabrina arc. So this episode is called Abra and the Psychic Showdown. So I think it's fair to say we might explain why this is a bit of an interesting choice, the kind of this early in the series. So if you know your games, red, blue, and yellow, there is a certain kind of order to do the gyms in. So obviously we've done the first three already as per the TV show. So you have Brock starting off, Misty, and then Lieutenant Surge. Those are always your three. Now there is obviously an order. The next one you should be going to is Celadon, which is you face off Erica, who's the grass type master.
Yep. And you have a bit of a journey to go to get to her, so that normally gives your break from you're gonna be 18 to 20 against both Misty and Surge. And you have a nice chunk of a break, and then it's now we're in the high 20s against Erica until...
Yeah, they throw in a bit of rocket shenanigans at these points to stretch out the gym leaders then, which has been the case for all games anyway.
Yeah.
They often have the gym leader, the gym challenge, and the plot at two very different parts of the game, and you just chop and change between them. Unlike the Sword and Shield, where you just forget about the plot altogether and just go for it. No, the plot's not happening to you. You're too young for the plot. Let's just move on.
Oh, this really amazing graphical shit is happening off screen.
There's a giant Pokemon just off screen.
Oh my god, you're Dynamaxing. Oh my god, what's happening?
Oh my god, we're all getting crushed. Please don't look at us.
There's no sign of that at all.
No, at all, no. So naturally Erica would be the fourth gym leader. The next one then, technically, is Koga, who's number 5 in the list. He's down in Fuchsia City, so that's even a bigger trek down.
Yeah.
Because you have to go through Lavender Town, Fuchsia City, all there's a huge fucking route in between then that gets your levels up.
Yeah.
Safari Zone, surf and all this other stuff.
There's plenty to do.
Plenty to do there. And then, technically, you go back to Saffron City to face Sabrina. And appropriate enough, the way the game kind of works out, there's actually 2 gyms in Saffron City. There's a fighting dojo that was the official gym, and then Sabrina came in, wiped the floor with them because psychic types are fucking dangerous shit in Generation 1.
Absolutely.
They're broken. Very, very broken. And what I like about it is that's kind of replicated in the TV show as well. They treat psychic Pokemon as if they're a unique breed that you have to be good at.
Yeah.
Like dragons.
No. What's weird is they kind of did this same thing with Gen 4 with Sinnoh. That in the original games, I think it was Fantina was normally the 6th gym.
Yes.
And then when Platinum came around, she was retconned into the 4th gym.
That's right, yes. I was about to say, yeah.
And again, that was because anime. But that didn't happen here. Whenever we got to Yellow, they still were like, no, Sabrina's still way too far on.
And in fairness, it makes sense. It makes sense that she's the 6th one because, or it could be the 7th, as we said last week. You could have done Blaine first.
It didn't make sense that they gave her, they retconned her team into an Abra.
Yeah.
She's one of the last gym leaders and still has an Abra.
But much to the point, it made such a big deal of just Abra and Cadabra. If they had gone with the full whole hog of here's all the psychic type Pokemon, she would have been unbeatable. If Ash was having trouble with a Kadabra, he wasn't going to beat a Hypno, and he certainly wasn't going to beat an Alakazam.
Yeah.
So that's the way they kind of looked at it that way.
I think let alone Mr. Mime.
Yeah, for Jesus Christ, yeah. I mean that tricky little boy, you know.
Even beat his own
Female
dad.
Mr. Mime in Gen 2.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Is one of the weird ones.
Okay.
Yeah. No, he's right. He's right what he's saying. But yeah, like I said, it's. I think it works with the story as well. What they're telling instead of the. But this is a surprise they hit at Saffron City first and not anything else. So it's weird. Anyway, so the episode does start off with an image of a girl in a white dress and hat, and we're going to see this girl quite a lot in the next few episodes. She has a ball in her hands. She's sitting on the lap of this kind of darker figure sitting on a throne-like chair. So very creepy starting off. The figure's eyes start shining red as it closes up on the eye, which is a human eye. That starts fading in, and we just hear a voice that says, "Time for us to play." It's a good visual because in the eye, as it were, we see Ash, Misty, Brock, Pikachu. They're all walking somewhere.
Yeah.
And then it fades in from the eye to where they actually are, which is kind of like a grassy area. So very nice bit of transitions here for starting off, like a bit of like actual foreboding, which makes sense because it's
it just sets the tone really well.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's psychics. It makes sense. So the narrator jumps in from this point then, saying that you continue the journey in a dark forest, warning that danger is just around the corner. And again, once again, they lost their way because, again, it wouldn't be a Pokemon episode if they got fucking lost.
I mean, didn't they just say in the last episode, if they cross that bridge and keep following that path, they'd get to Saffron City?
Yes. Well, were they wrong?
Well, they ended up in a warehouse in the middle of nowhere trying to rescue some Butterfree, so like they got blown off course with those whirlwinds.
And so did the Butterfree, funny enough, yeah. Or at least some of them did. But yeah, like Ash obviously stops and then sarcastically asks Misty if this is the way to Saffron City. Oh, you're a girl, you can't read maps, lol. Which is true, by the way, scientific fact. So Misty argues back.
Just because I'm not good at saying the direction doesn't mean I don't know where I'm going.
Look left. You had to think about it. That was the worst part. He's like, shit, where am I? We just tell like Burp to head north. She just starts spinning like a compass. It's gas. So Misty argues back, saying that Ash's sense of direction is so bad he couldn't find himself in a mirror, which I think was I actually quite like that line. In fairness. Ash then snaps back, saying that Misty cracks mirrors, and then Brock tells everyone to please shut the fuck up because even I'm sick of this shit right now, and I'm constantly horny. Like, I have my own problems, and you two are just completely ruining my flow. And yeah, they just keep going, like, Brock says a line, neither of you just want to stand here and insult each other, and they go, yes we do. But then Brock snaps, saying that he doesn't want to hear any of it. So it's actually Brock that's trying to take control of the situation here, for a change. And as he's trying to keep, he started to rant here at this stage, but they hear laughing from elsewhere. And we do see a little girl, she's bouncing a ball through this kind of like local fog.
A girl dressed in Victorian era outfit.
Yes.
Which,
not creepy.
Not creepy at all. No, it's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Ash then tries to say hello, asking if she lives near here, and if you probably want to be living in a creepy ass looking forest. And the girl just giggles and runs away from them. Ash then chases after her, and again desperate for directions here. But the girl keeps continuing. She disappears into the woods, into like some sort of level of darkness. Ash then shouts that they do need directions, but when he runs into the darkness, there's a precipice. An actual cliff face just appears in front of him. And Ash then tries to stop himself in time, but tips over and starts falling down the cliff face. So there's a really cool like shot here of like Ash like falling to his death, but turns. Yeah, it is nice. It's good. Yeah. Shame it didn't happen. And he just turns and like throws Bulbasaur back up the cliff face and conveniently lands where he needs to be. And essentially, Bulbasaur grabs him in the vines, and that stops Ash's fall. So Misty and Brock then ask if he's okay, which
he's just hanging out here.
Oh yeah, but don't dish. Yeah.
It's their second to write these bad puns.
I'm surprised he didn't use a bad pun, but then again, he was falling to his death. It's not really the right time for it,
Absolutely the time for it.
I wouldn't be. If that was me. Fuck that, like. And yeah, as he does, they ask if he's okay. He's bridged to safety by Bulbasaur, and Ash then says, "Oh, that was a close call." And Misty asks about the mysterious little girl. Ash doesn't know where they are, but we don't know where she's gone, but he knows where they are. And you see the beautiful city lights of Saffron City. Taste all that light pollution. Delicious. And Misty marvels at the sight of the inner city like horrors of Saffron City. Now, obviously, like being the original games, like Saffron City doesn't seem that big, but it's it's made out like a grid, so it's meant to be like kind of like your
main hub,
your main hub city. Yeah,
it basically connects you to everywhere you've been before at that stage.
The weird thing is, I don't remember it being the biggest city. Like Celadon is the biggest city, as far as I can remember, just from area alone. But Saffron is like packed; it's just nothing but buildings, so it looks like a city area.
Self-go building.
Yeah, that's the center of it in a sense. But like I said, even from the
isn't the arcade there?
No,
that's Celadon.
That's Celadon.
Celadon, yeah. And yeah, like I said, I feel like Sell It On is the biggest.
Shopping centre, Sell It On.
I know. I loved it. I know Sell it because it's Sell It On in the shopping centre. I always remembered that.
I like the way you think, but it really wasn't for that.
But no, that's how I remember where the
Sell It
shop
On.
was. If I ever needed to buy something, like, I need to sell it on.
Yeah, but it was fuchsia. See, the Safari Zone was in fuchsia, and you couldn't catch a kangaroo song. Fuck it, fuchsia. There we go, that works. So as I said, they've accidentally reached Saffron City, which is nice. Brock then mentions obviously the Saffron Gym Leader is Sabrina, and defeating her earns you a Marsh badge.
So Sabrina, Sabrina the Teenage Witch was a show I would have watched along the same time as this program and at the same age group. And there's an episode of Sabrina where she has a Molly Dolly, which is very much how I just, in my own headcanon, created the link that the Molly Dolly from Sabrina, which is like this cursed doll that is like trying to kill everyone, is the doll from this. And that it was created by evil Sabrina in the Pokemon world. But if anyone is listening to this or watching this on the various channels that
platforms,
we're on, have a look at the Molly Dolly and Sabrina the Teenage Witch and this creepy little child from this episode of Pokemon.
In fairness, like, you could be right, because these did come out around the same time, and that's not to say that the one didn't inspire the other, but because they're in this kind of the same environment, and they would have been Japanese names themselves and then translated in.
Yeah.
It could be that could be a connection. We'll have to look and see, but yeah, it's a curious one in that sense, because Sabrina is kind of she's definitely one of the more standoutish trainers overall. Her look is very distinctive, and she gets quite a lot of love in most of the in most of the games as well. She's kind of seen as a bit of a big deal. But as far as I can see here, as far as I know, she's not actually connected to Sabrina the Teenage Witch at all. You think so, but I think it could very well be just a coincidence.
But in my own headcanon, I've made it a thing.
Yeah.
Well, just pointing out the air date for both of them. The Sabrina episode was Halloween 1998 for the Molly Dolly episode. The air date for the Abra and Psychic Showdown, originally in America, was 7th of October 1998.
Ooh.
Same month.
Same month, yeah, that is a coincidence. I'm actually just looking at it here. So, if we are trying to flesh out this shared universe they may have, first of all, there's no black cat, which is a bit of a shame.
Yeah.
But
there is a talking cat.
There is a talking cat. That's true. Yeah. That is true. But I do believe the actual name Sabrina comes from I think it's a psychic, as in it's a corruption of that name. But it could very well be a reference to the Teenage Witch.
Sabrina was also an Archie character. That's like Jughead and that is what the Sabrina that TV show is
was based on. Yeah. And obviously in Japan, look, she would have had her Japanese name for a long time anyway. She was her name was Natsume. So I don't know if they kind of came from that. But also, fun fact while I'm here, in France, so in every other language, she's either called Natsume or Sabrina. But in France, she's called Morgane. And the reason she's called that is Morgane Le Fay, who was a powerful sorceress in Arthurian legend.
There's also Morgan in Sabrina.
Yes.
This is all.
Yes. And again, we've on the Madness channel, we had just finished playing Ace Attorney.
Yeah.
Please stay tuned for a future podcast where we dissect old episodes of Sabrina.
Yeah. It's there if you want it, lads. Just throwing it out there. We'll just leave that hanging. But again, in Ace Attorney, there's the Faye sisters and the Faye family. The mother is called Morgan Faye.
Yeah.
So there you go. It's all in a shared universe. So Ace Attorney,
all connected.
Pokemon, Ace Attorney, and Sabrina Teenage Witch are all in a shared universe. You've heard it here first, folks. We've just cracked this case wide open.
Take that!
Take fucking that. Again, there was a pose in the last episode. It happens. It's there. It's staring at us. Right. So Ash warns Sabrina to be ready as we get our title screen. We get a shot of the Hotel DX, which I found was a very odd name for a hotel.
Yeah.
Apparently that's the way you break it down. I don't know. Pans down to see the team.
Get out.
Yeah. It took you a second. They're not.
You can listen back. It took me a second to sigh.
I think. Come on, we're on the low blows. You have to have one wrestling reference in per episode, and now everyone's been looking back on where was the one from last week. Very subtle, lads. You have to listen out for it. Pans down to see the team walking through the Saffron City gate, which literally says Saffron City. It's definitely not replaced from kanji. Ash marvelling at the size of the town, but suddenly poppers go off around them. Yes, they are getting bombed again, shockingly. Brock thinking it's some kind of ambush, because apparently that happens a lot with Brock.
I mean, not even 5 episodes ago they were being attacked by tentacle and tentacle.
This is true, and they did use explosives at that time, so yeah, I mean they're definitely traumatized in that sense. But instead, Ash is given a lei, a kiss on the cheek by 2 girls in Hawaiian outfits. The 2 girls say congratulations to the winners. Now, I'm not going to say this is a trap, but the 2 sound very familiar. I don't know if it comes across.
Yeah.
Look, there's only so many voice actors that this show hires. So.
This is true, actually, yeah. In fairness, I thought she said, there was like I forgot to say this in the last episode, but the girl that releases the Butterfree that Brock fancies is clearly Misty's voice actor.
Oh, yeah.
And she just like, she goes, oh, I'm slightly deeper because I'm a teenager. It's just like, yeah, no, you're not fooling anyone, lads. It's just, I legit, after hearing that, I'm thinking, oh, they must just do the same thing. They just got Jesse's voice actor to do the two voices. But Ash, I love this as well. Like, she says congratulations to the winners. Ash immediately doesn't believe it, saying, how could they have won by just walking into town, right? And then the one rambles on saying, you're the millionth the first, millionth the second, blah, blah, blah. Right, I did the maths, right? So, they are, in fact, the 6 millionth and 6th visitor to Saffron City.
How do you work that out?
Because it said a millionth first, millionth and second, and millionth. I was like, a millionth first, millionth second, millionth third. So, when you add them all together, it's 6 million and 6.
Oh my god.
Which makes me think that, like, okay, this could have worked, but you're doing them as literal palindromes. Which, by the way, if you're the millionth visit to Saffron City, you're feeling fucking short change there if you give it to the guy behind you. You know, and you have to wait for another million and then another 2 million. Like, that's just, no, it's bollocks, like. Clearly they should have figured it out from there. And the 2 start humming along and dancing like it's kind of like obviously the Hawaiian tradition. And they must have had a trip to Alola while they were here, but however.
Ash, this was them first off testing the waters to see how would people react.
And then 18 years later, they finally bit the bullet and left it plan. Like, yeah. Ash then changes his tune, going like, well, they're doing a Hawaiian dance, who am I to disbelieve them? And he says their luck has finally turned around. So, we see a towering skyscraper that's definitely not Sylph Company. Some doors open with the 2 Hawaiian girls prompt the team into the grand prize room. Doors close, the 2 stand in front of it, give each other a look. And again, if you haven't figured out this already, folks, in fairness, Pikachu is grabbed by a pair of rubber gloves. One of the girls drops their stuff, saying thank you for the Pikachu. It drops her accent, that's what it was. Ash then tries to get it back, but the other girl says they've earned a trip through the warp tile, which again tells you that it's actually Sylph Company because they are using them. Actually, Team Rocket always used warp tiles. They always, in all their facilities. And makes you wonder how they got that technology in the first place, but fair enough.
Yeah, maybe they're working with Sylph Co.
No, that can't be the case. Team Rocket in Sylph Company. That's a conspiracy. No. That's a conspiracy, James.
Corporate espionage and stuff.
That's it, yeah. So they all get shoved back. Ash gets shoved back himself. That pushes the other 2 onto the tile. They all get transported elsewhere. And the girl then, now with James's voice, has Pikachu's mouth covered and says that was easy. So yeah, it's very evident. I will say at least the makeup on James's side is a lot better than previously. Yeah. Like, I mean, we were not a few episodes ago looking at his very fake inflatable tits. At least now he's got his gear right this time. You know, he put an effort into it this time. Although it does actually now show there is a pattern now of James cross-dressing. Yeah. So, you know,
clearly comfortable with himself.
Seems that way, yeah. Yep. There you go. He's a very attractive man. And he tries to make it work whenever he can. So the 3 warp into this kind of empty room with kind of like weird tiling on the wall. The walls, the roofs, they all have the same kind of like weird tiling on it. Ash still thinks it's the grand prize room. Somehow still not recognising, oh, my Pikachu's been kidnapped. And we've just been like transported to somewhere in this building. Where's the prize, I wonder? Missy then has to tell him, oh dude, it's a trap, like pay attention. And Brock then is noticing that there's no doors or windows in this room. And we hear Jesse's voice speaking over the speaker saying, the warp tile is the only way in or out of this room. Mala then moves in front of the team as the 2 Hawaiian girls appear on screen, saying it's the premiere, prepare for trouble, make it double show. Now, where have we heard that phrase before, folks?
Like a lot of people say it, to be fair. Like, it's like one of those things where it's like, instead of like hi, bye, it's prepare for trouble, make it double. Yeah. You know, it's just...
That is actually how we say goodbye after these sessions.
That is how you order a coffee as well. You know, make it double.
And then And then suddenly, for some reason, an R is written on your Starbucks. Like.
Absolutely.
And that,
this barista artwork.
Yes.
Artwork.
No, that's how it works. It's actually there's a Starbucks in town that has like a downstairs Team Rocket basement, which you have to like order the coffee, then find a poster, pulse the switch, walk down the stairs, and you're there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the screen says please stand by as they change their costumes. You see the clothes and wigs flaring all over the place, and they're back into their normal Rocket fatigues, although they're slightly out of breath in doing so. Ashton finally sees what's happened 5 minutes after everyone else, as always, and he's just realised that both had kissed him on the cheek.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's again, it's good for James to be comfortable in his sexuality. That's fair. And he rips up the lane disgusting.
Kissing children though, that's probably not.
That's a bit of a dash of nonce, is what we would say there. Yeah, very, very, very strong dash of nonce. Misty and Brock then both laugh at it, going like, a man kissed you on the cheek. Yeah, that's not problematic at all. Rockets then performed their motto through the monitor, but what I like about this, they're doing the motto, and then the trio all get bored of it, and they just start having like traditional Japanese tea.
Yeah.
So they're around the table, the shoes are off, the whole lot. Like now, I will admire their commitment to the joke.
Yeah.
To go like, hang on, let's get the tea table out. Yeah. Right, shoes off, lads. Let's properly.
We can't escape from this room, but let's all have our traditional garb on.
Exactly. It. Yeah. I mean, like as mind games go, that's pretty good. Like. So Missy remarks the show is boring, and Ash believes it's going to get cancelled. They have the tea up, and they're being like real kind of like TV movie critics, like, you know, like fucking. So Rocket takes offence to this and thinks that they've got something to get their attention, and they do. It's Pikachu tied up and gagged essentially, with Meowth holding in position. So yeah, Pikachu's been held for ransom here. I like it. Yeah. Ash runs towards the monitor, gets cut out as he demands Pikachu back. We've seen Team Rocket at the controls. Jessie says there's something wrong. Meowth says it's to turn her back on, because obviously that's how it works. James says nothing is working. So Meowth says, well, this is what happens when you work with amateurs, because clearly Meowth is a professional in this group.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, that's why he has all the great ideas and good jokes. Meowth then tries to get everyone's attention, which is obviously elsewhere, and he then just asks, who's the little girl? And indeed, it is the same girl we've been seeing from the forest and at the start of the show, standing in the room.
Golly.
Yeah.
She's gonna get you.
Your mother plays our games in hell. Jessie and James smugly say she can't be here as they approach her. The girl smirks and starts glowing in a bluish light, which we'll see quite a lot in this. Team Rocket are then frozen mid-stride, as they say they can't move. Meowth doesn't understand what's going on, and he thinks they've got to chill, to the point where they've actually been frozen in fucking position. So as he's distracted, the girl has freed Pikachu and teleports away with it. And so Pikachu's free again. Now, typically we would do like a what should Rocket do here, but like there's not much Rocket can do when a psychic girl just appears and takes shit off you. I mean that will derail any plan you have.
Taunting Ash was a mistake.
It was, yeah, it
like
was.
They could.
He probably wouldn't have even noticed Pikachu was gone for at least another 10 minutes.
You could have actually brought him in.
Escape. So I'm putting my claim down. What would Rocket do? They should have just taken Pikachu and left and let Ash figure out.
One takes Pikachu, the other indulges him in a grand prize room.
Don't even send Brock and Misty in as well.
Yeah.
Send them into a different room.
Yeah, to be fair, like there's so many ways around this. Yeah.
Warp Tile, put him in a room. He didn't have a way out.
Yeah.
And like if they had just beelined it out of there.
But again, no matter what ideas we have, like clearly it's just gonna get derailed every single time that it's like a girl. So it's just like it's much of a muchness. But at least we have some mild suggestions for next time, whenever that may be. Although again they're frozen for a while, so they could be waiting a while for that one. They hear a giggle behind them as Ash is shouting at the monitor for Pikachu, and the girl is there holding the Pikachu. She releases it back into Ash's arms and does ask a question that everyone knows the answer to. Were you the one to rescue Pikachu? She nods. Ash is very thankful for that. The girl smirks again, starts glowing, and the team starts looking a bit like, okay, this is weird. Little girls don't normally do this. You know, they're not all sucking psychics. So she points at them then, and they all get teleported out of the room, which was a random act of kindness all the same. They appear on the streets of Saffron City. There's a bit of a fog around them. So, for kind of full disclosure, I thought they were going somewhere with this, but in actuality, they were just there all night. Basically, they were like, it was night when they got in, and then when they were teleported out, it was like dawn essentially.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes you wonder, like, what was Team Rocket doing in that time? like some time has clearly passed there, or maybe they just they were just held in a in suspension until they teleport out. I don't know. But yeah, so Ash then looks around, or sorry, I should say, they appear on the streets of Saffron City. They all look a bit confused. Ash presuming the girl did something to get them out of there. And Brock quips, they should be okay once they don't win any more prizes, which is fair. So Ash does look around and sees a large dome-like building. And it turns out to be the gym, shockingly enough. He tries to figure out what it is. But as he does, this kind of bearded guy jogs up to them and says, how could you not recognise the great Sabrina's gym, Mama Baby? He continues to jog on the spot as he's talking to them. Ash says he wants to challenge the Pokemon League, and the guy says, no, you should leave.
Yeah.
Bad things are going to happen.
I mean, in fairness, there are more than 8 gyms that you can attempt.
We know there is another gym in Saffron City.
We know that Gary got 10 badges by the time he challenged the league.
That's
true.
If
you're seeing something, I know we're saying this, I'm jumping a little bit and saying this, but this is beyond Ash being able to do.
It's weird, isn't it?
He should be able to heed, and even Brock and Misty, former gym leaders, would know, don't fuck with Sabrina.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? I find it very surprising that all the gym leaders kind of at least in the cartoon show, don't know each other. Because they're aware of each other. Brock said he knew who the Cerulean gym leader was, but wouldn't give Ash advice one way or the other out of fairness. There was a kind of a cult to it. He should know. Yeah, Ash, you're gonna get your ass handed to you. And even then, as you said, if Gary has 10 badges, he had to get them from somewhere. Yeah. So either he did fuck off the Johto and cheated. I don't know, but even if that's the case, though, then who else was out there? So more than 2, because Ash is the only guy who got the Earth badge at the end of it. That's true, yeah. And I don't think he would have gotten the Cinnabar badge, because that was fairly rare for Ash to have gotten that one. That is true, actually, as well. Yeah. So. Again, it kind of begs the question. I think at this point of the show, they had not set in stone that there was just 8 badges. Yeah. Because in other series, they just go oh, here's your 8 badges, collect them and go. Yeah. They kind of had written this in as if they could have had their own as it were custom gym leaders and so forth. Yeah. But then realised actually no, let's just stick with the game. It's easier. Yeah. And I think at this point they were deciding well, you could have had a choice.
Thinking about all the characters that they've created themselves are creepy old man. Hag woman, creepy old man. I can't think of anyone else who's been kind of introduced just in the TV. Misty with a lower voice.
Other miscellaneous girl.
Yep. They're all just awful. There's no creative thought gone into any extra player. So if they're gonna create their own gym, it would probably be an actual gym. Yes. And the leader is Jim.
Yeah, no, in fairness, that's probably why they didn't do it. They're going the TV writers are going okay, we want to make our own gym, and the guys in Japan going, that's nice. No, really, that's cute. I'd love to see you try. No, we'll wait. Go on. It's such a difference because I remember reading the manga, and again, if you really want to get into Pokemon, I'd thoroughly recommend the manga for this because half the gym leaders are all in Team Rocket. Yep. And if I'm not, I'm gonna have to try and wrap my head around this. Now I know that Misty and Brock are fine; they're not in it. Erica isn't, but the rest of them are. So Lieutenant Surge is a kind of a boot camp. Yep. Like a slave driver for them, and I believe Koga is a trainer as well for Team Rocket.
Wasn't sure about Koga, but yeah, I know Sabrina is. I know Blaine is.
Blaine was the guy who made Mewtwo. Yeah. That's a canon of his in the manga. It's not in the. It's kind of implied in the games himself, and I can't recall how they went the TV show. I think it just went with a mad scientist gimmick for him. And
a guy called Dr. Fuji.
Dr. Fuji, yes, yeah, which we will get to later. Yep. Yeah. So it was a case of and Sabrina was a top lieutenant in Team Rocket, hence why she's in Saffron City. That's the logic there, that she was actually part of the organization. Yeah. Which is a bit of a disappointment in the game. They never really tapped into that, but I guess they just had a miscellaneous challenge for someone else. But yeah, it's kind of interesting how they were actively writing the gyms as they went. So you could have, if you didn't want to challenge Sabrina, you could have went somewhere else, but they didn't set that in stone in a sense. So Ash tries to ask him why we shouldn't challenge Sabrina, and he's just ran off. He's just fucked off straight away. Yeah.
And I like how he's running as if he's holding a backpack, but there's no backpack straps.
It's the way people jog. You grab onto your shoulder with this,
pulling yourself forward.
Exactly. Yeah. Come on, I've seen people do it all the time. It's fine.
Haven't we been all watching the Olympics?
Exactly, that's how you run. Yeah, that's why they have the band, the vest straps. So they just grab the vest and lead themselves forward.
So you either have people Naruto running. Yeah, you're running arms behind yourself to make yourself go faster. We have
the Velma run, which Raheem Sterling does all the time. That's very effective. That's very aerodynamic, and it works very well.
Yeah. Or you have the people who pull themselves along.
Yes. In fairness, like I do want to live in a world where in the Olympics, like you do have to do the 100 meters, but as Naruto. Because I mean, how wonderful would that be? It's like, okay, you've done like sprinters have their own way, but they have to do it in a particular style. So that's Japan. You missed a chance. You missed your fucking chance. Maybe next time. So yeah, they walk in because Ash says you have to enter the league with the marsh badge, because apparently again maybe there's some badges you have to get and some are optional. I don't know. The door slide open. Everyone walks in. Ash calls for everyone, but the room, which is all pillars and lamps, completely empty. Not a noise at all. It's very strange. Missy noting how creepy the whole place is. As they continue, they stop when they see a green door on one of the sides of the walls. They peek through the window and they look surprised when they see people wearing white coats, handing spoons, and others holding cards with symbols on them. So we will find out that this is a psychic training camp. And I'm not going to lie, lads, I don't know why this like Pokemon universe thinks that like scientists or people who look like scientists are also trained to be psychics. Like that, like we have the garb is white coat, mask. Yeah, we see mask as well. Yeah.
Just if you need a reminder of what year we're doing this rewatch in.
It's all normal now, but that one guy was ahead of fucking. He was a psychic. He saw it coming. That's why he was wearing the mask. He knew it was coming. And yeah,
please, 2 meters.
Get away from me. My accident hates you. Yes, no, I'm still trying to figure out where I'm from. But yeah, like so, like, it's according to the Pokemon universe, all psychics dress in white lab coats, and they're clearly white lab coats because they're in the same gimmick. Turtlenecks, right? You got your smart trousers and your smart shoes. That is your psychic uniform.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, where on God's green earth do you dress like that to be a psychic? Where is the psychic laboratory I can go into to get my training?
Is it to like blend in with the normal crowd so that they don't know you're psychics? Because like psychics, if you think of a psychic, like it's probably all frills and draperies and sequins and stuff like that. Is what I would tassels.
You're kind of like more like the kind of the gypsy route in a sense, yeah.
You know,
maybe it's like a rank of psychic. You have the low tier ones who think it's all about pizzazz.
Yes.
And then you have the ones who are like, no, there's science to this shit.
The scientific approach to psychics.
Yes. And that's lab coats.
That is a fucking strange sentence to say. Anyway, my fucking chemistry degree is burning behind me as I'm saying that. So one person tried to guess what was on the card, got it wrong, while another one tries to bend the spoon with her mind, and she does. All credit to her. So Ash tries to figure out what this is, and in the end we hear like a man in a white coat and face mask approaching, asking what they are doing here in a very strange kind of like it's kind of meant to be like a European accent. I think it's kind of meant to be like a Romanian or kind of like Eastern European accent, because he's a very kind of like a harshness to the way he speaks.
Yeah.
Not Russian, but like in like the kind of the Balkans is what I'm kind of getting from that. And Ash explains he's here for Pokemon Battle the Challenge for the Marsh Badge, and again we were talking about him. He's like a big tall guy wearing a face mask, so he's clearly trying to keep the psychicness inwards. If he opens his mouth, it's just like psychic, just blast out of his mouth. You'd
imagine because they're all using spoons that like his mouth is just full of metal shards.
Yeah, that's what it is. You just open it and it's all spoons. The man retorts saying that you want the challenge of great Sabrina, as if it's like a fucking circus attraction. Although in France with her psychic power she could make a killing on that circuit. Yeah. Missy changes topic and asking what those people were doing in that room. He scoffs saying they know so little and yet they want to challenge Sabrina. He chuckles and holds out the spoon to the confusion of everyone else. Starts tensing up, the face goes red, starts sweating until the spoon bends by itself. Mm-hmm. An impressive strength, show of psychic ability there. It's just a shame it's all fake. Ash asks if he's got a headache, but the man explains it's telekinesis. And again, this is where we're getting the fact that we're hyping up the stronger Pokemon here. You can't control a psychic type unless you can use telekinesis. Yeah. So you have to be able to communicate with them through that. And this is where Ash shows his complete fucking ignorance. He smugly says, telekinesis is good. He grabs a spoon and says he has his own secret technique of bending spoons. and he actually just bends it.
Yeah.
Like all the way. And it bends all the way around, and Chuckle's saying, haha, muscle over mind. Because I am a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
And the other two are just like going like, Jesus Christ, if I could leave now, I would. Like, Brock is literally like almost like packing his bag to go home to his family at this point. Like,
seriously, I don't see why Brock didn't say, look, you're shit.
Yeah. Like literally,
you're not fit for this one.
I have a choice here. I have to follow you around for the rest.
He's probably like, Sabrina's hot. I want to see her.
in fairness, like Sabrina isn't someone that Brock falls for, which I find it kind of find
maybe
surprising.
Because of the whole Molly Dolly thing. To be fair.
Yeah, maybe like she
like
just.
He's probably heard about this Sabrina one. It's like, that's a girl.
He doesn't want crazy.
Yeah, but he's like still like, I can't say no to the girl, so I want to see her. But like, I'll let Ash deal with her.
Let him be the actual.
I'll go from afar.
Oh, right, okay, I like that. Or maybe like again because he knows who she is.
Yeah.
Has gone through that phase and went, oh no, she is. Nope, I'm not. Nope, I'm not going near there. Talk to dolls. She's a freak. And I'm already enough weird as it is. We can't have double weird. That'll just get too much. So yeah, it doesn't matter either way. Ash says he wants to face Sabrina now. So the man obliges, guides him into an empty room with the battlefield in the centre. So it's a nice looking area all the same. Brock saying it's more like a temple than a gym area. And Misty says she's got a bad feeling. I wonder if you're the psychic type trainer here, Misty.
Yeah,
considering Starmie is water psychic, just saying. So yeah, she basically says bad feeling.
Psyduck then, sorry, just
oh yeah, well Psyduck does have a.
So she must have some sort of intuition there.
You think so? Yeah, maybe a latent bit of knowledge there. Yeah. So the psychic kneels by some steps in the screen, explaining these trainers are here to challenge her. She also remarks why she would waste her time on these losers. Scoff, scoff. Mm-hmm. Beyond the screen, we do see the kind of same dark outline from the start of the show. The little girl appears in the centre of it. Ash obviously recognises who that is. The girl looks up to show red glowing eyes. And the psychic guy stands up in pain, blue glow surrounding him obviously. He seeks forgiveness in saying he doesn't decide who she faces.
Yep.
He then runs away in fear, Misty now reinforcing her belief something is wrong here. Brock agrees, asking who she could be. Ash then asks if she is Sabrina. Again, Brock being very coy here, clearly going like, oh, I don't know who this is. Yeah, no, she definitely didn't turn me down years ago, shut up. The girl giggles away as Ash formally challenges her. The girl speaks by saying she'd love to have a match. Ash remarking that this was easy, but the girl says if he loses, he has to be your friend and has to play with her.
Okay.
Ash agrees unconditionally because again he's an idiot, reasoning that he need to have more confidence in him. She may have telekinetic powers, but she's still only a little girl. Famous last words, Ash Ketchum.
Yeah.
Obviously, the others going like, yeah, that's great, that's good. Fuck, we're gonna die, aren't we?
Yeah.
Evidently. So the screen slides open and we see the little girl sitting on the lap of a taller girl, her eyes open, and says it's time for us to play as the doors slam shut behind them.
Dun dun dun!
And what a nice cliffhanger to end the first half of the episode, because obviously we had time for an ad break, but it's also time for
Who's That Pokemon?
Thank you, that was lovely. So, since you last left us here at Who's That Pokemon, James, you have taken the lead.
Absolutely, and I plan to keep it.
Yes, well, you have been in the lead before.
There's fighting words.
Yeah, that is very much fighting words. Yes, this is my turn this time, so it's my job to try and cut us off at the pass here.
Yes.
So, we will start off the Dex entry as always, and I'm going to take one from Crystal this time.
Okay.
So, Dex entry is: when the temperature drops at night, it sleeps on treetops, hate that word, treetops, or among roots where it is well hidden.
Okay.
When the temperature drops at night, it sleeps on treetops or among roots where it is well hidden.
Okay, I'll give Burkbot the first guess.
Treetops.
Things grass type.
Or grass roots. Something that lives in trees. Or in and around trees. Something that needs to keep warm. So, oh god, I'm gonna go with
Okay, we're going for that. James, how about yourself?
I'm going to go with Tangela.
Tangela. Okay, you are both wrong.
Oh, okay.
Right then. So, the next thing I'm going to give you is its height. It is 4'11".
4'11".
Okay.
Manky.
We'll go for Mankey, okay.
Mankey's 4 foot.
I don't know.
Alright.
How do you mean primate?
Sure, let's go with that one.
The evolved form of Mankey.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe you're going for primate then, okay.
I don't know what sizes they're meant to be.
I keep coming back on the Bellspurt line, so I'm going to go Bellspurt.
We'll go for Bellspurt,
4
okay.
foot?
Yeah, why not?
Well, with the roots, it can be tall enough, like, but they're both wrong anyway.
Okay.
So the next thing we're going to give you is one of its signature moves.
Okay.
Sword dance.
Scyther.
Sword dance. Let's see.
Now again, there are certain people that can learn sword dance as well, so
Yeah.
we do tend to count this.
I don't think I'm right with this, but I'm still going to take a stab in the dark and say Farfetch'd.
Farfetch'd. You are both wrong. And the next thing I'm going to say is it is a bug type.
Okay. What?
Bug type. Pinsir.
James, how about yourself?
That was going to be my one for this one, but I guess since it has to be a bug type, I'm going to have to go with Beedrill.
Beedrill, right. Well, one of you is right.
It's Spencer.
And it is Pinsir.
Yay! I get what, 2?
2 points.
2 points!
2 points. So I've done my job.
Woo!
I've stalled you enough. So yeah, so it's all to play for in the next episode. All very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there you go. Right then, so again, it was only that giveaway. The way I kind of had this envisioned, because the moves were very obvious. There was like vice grip, fucking guillotine, all this sort of shit.
Given it immediately.
Would have given it away. But my hope was that I'd be able to kind of get you to squirm until that point. Because like a bug type, and then the location was Safari Zone. So it was a case of like, oh shit, it's either Scyther or Pinsir.
Yeah.
Well, that's enough. I'm happy with that. So
if putting it in trees is hot.
That was the thing, like, because all the other entries were about it's like horns, and it's like, okay, fair enough. But then this was like trees, like, oh, that's really throwing people off. Because as you remember, in Generation 2 they had the gimmick of headbutting trees, and every now and then there's a chance you might get a Pinsir.
Yeah.
Because it lives in trees. So yeah.
There you go. Makes sense now.
There you go. It all makes sense. So the second half of the show begins with the same shot of Sabrina and the little girl sitting on the throne. Ash realising the taller girl was Sabrina all along. She floats out of the throne, holding the little girl as she stands in the field as the lights go on. So again, she getting pretty good billing here as an entity more than anything else. So Sabrina says it's going to be an all-out one-on-one match. So again, in this kind of context, the gym leaders kind of set the rules here of what battle they want.
Yeah.
Because it's the same with Surge and so forth. So it's a one-on-one for Sabrina, and Ash goes, yeah, fair enough, I'm happy with that. The girl lets go of the ball she has, starts floating in the air. Sabrina tells Abra to come out, and Abra does and sits on the field. Ash brings a Pikachu in response, and they square off in the ring. Pikachu is all hyped up for the fight, but there's actually nothing at all from Abra. It's nothing at all. Abra just hums its name. Pikachu dances around it looking for something to do. Pikachu points to it and talks to Ash, reckoning that it's asleep, or at least that's what Ash assumes.
Sure, because he's always right.
Well, in fairness, its eyes are closed. Like, it's not doing. It's just sitting there and kind of like it's meditating. Yeah. As we all know, anyone who meditates is automatically asleep. That's how it works. And thinks Sabrina is making fun of him. So he takes his Pokedex to try and see what the story is here. So the Pokedex explains, obviously calls it Abra. Says it's a psychic Pokemon. It sleeps 18 hours a day and still uses telekinesis powers in its sleep. So Missy says to be careful. So we'll switch into battle mode here because some shit happens. So Ash tells Pikachu to use Thunder Shock. As it charges up, Sabrina's eyes glow red, as does Abra. Abra teleports away as the shock is about to hit it, and it misses. Pikachu looks confused as the Abra appears behind it. Misty sells it, saying it's teleported. Sabrina remarks, saying childish fools, as she glows blue. The Abra starts glowing white and seemingly evolves into a Kadabra mid-battle, which never happens in the game. Ash checks a Pokédex and gets a rundown of Kadabra, saying it's obviously Abra's evolved form, with powerful telekinetic attacks. Ash complains it was meant to be a 1 versus 1, but Misty says evolving during a battle isn't against the rules.
It just never happens.
It just never happens, exactly.
No, sorry, it never happens against Ash.
No, that's true.
Ash has had his Pokemon evolve in a battle and it's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Just look at his Krabby in the Pokemon League.
Very true, yeah. There you go.
Turns into the Kingdom in a battle and everyone's like, yeah, cool.
I have a theory of why it started off as an Abra though. We'll get into it when we resend the battle. So, obviously Ash thinks he can win if he can't teleport away from a battle, which is actually true in a sense. So he tells Pikachu to shock the entire arena. So he builds up this kind of like cloud of lightning that shoots down Kadabra, all aiming at him. Sabrina tells Kadabra to use confusion. It seemingly redirects the lightning attack back at Pikachu, reshapes it into kind of like demonic head that chases Pikachu down. Quite good visual actually. The lightning eventually hits Pikachu. Sabrina follows up with a psychic attack. Pikachu is lifted up and Ash thinks he's back in the battle. He starts dancing. Ash thinks it's a mind game. He's a fucking idiot. Again, you don't even use psychic attacks here. Just show off how gullible Ash is. So as she says that, Pikachu starts getting hurled to the roof and floor continuously, and after a few kind of like massive hits, Ash decides to end the match. And yeah, essentially the match is over there. So
based on this battle, I think J.K. Rowling came up with the 3 unforgivable curses, because there's Abra and Cadabra, and then we've got the Crucius curse, where you can take over someone and just flip them over and get them to do mad stuff, which is what's happening with Pikachu there. So, another crossover into a different universe maybe.
I know that J.K. Rowling gets awful stick for being a wagon, but the thing is, like, she definitely didn't have dibs on Abracadabra. She didn't go to like one of a chipper down in Ireland and go, that's it. Yeah. That's what we should call it.
No, like this was actually one of the fun. Like this is the first battle we've had in a while.
Yes.
And it was good. I liked it.
It is fun. So here's how so obviously when this happens, we kind of like roll back the tape here and use the kind of game logic to apply to these battles to see, do they actually work out? Does it actually play out as it should? So we'll do it. I tell the tape here. So obviously it's a 1-on-1 battle. Ash will only have Pikachu here. So I've interpreted the lightning attack, James, as a thunderbolt. I think that's kind of what they were going with that. So if that's the case, we would reckon Pikachu's about level 26. Yep. That's how it learns it naturally. It doesn't actually learn naturally in red and blue, but it does in yellow, which is a very strange oversight. Now Sabrina, on the other hand, this is where it gets interesting, because the Kadabra knows 3 moves that we're aware of: teleport, confusion, and the psychic attack. Yeah. Psychic is a big fuck off attack, right? Once you have that, you more or less win the game in certain aspects.
Are you saying Kadabra only learns Psychic at 38?
It does learn Psychic 38.
But it also learns by TM, which is in that time.
Very true.
So that doesn't mean it has to be level 38.
No, not necessarily. You are right in that sense. But I'm going from the logic of like, well, Pikachu's been clearly overpowered, it would be more likely that it's a higher level. Yeah. So when like the battle starts off as Abra, I reckon that's an illusion. Because Kadabra, like being a psychic type, might be able to use some form of illusion. So I think it was an Abra, it was always Kadabra, but to lull Pikachu and Ash into false sense of security, come across like Abra first, and then show off that it's Kadabra. It's like, oh shit, it's an even powerful, more powerful psychic. But that's my thoughts on it. But
enough.
At least for the purpose of this this segment, we're treating it as if it's Pikachu versus Kadabra, basically.
Oh no, I'd agree with going Pikachu versus Kadabra, but I'd also say that's just to show how broken the psychic types are, and that this is them looking to show like Sabrina has that much control over it.
Oh, very much
that
so.
She can tell it, okay, you can evolve now.
You can evolve now, yeah, exactly. So yeah, we like if so, then we can argue perhaps there's a big level. I think there will naturally be a big level difference in this anyway, but a few little kind of like continuity things. Teleport doesn't actually work in a battle. It only gets you back to a Pokemon Center in the world, basically in the overworld.
Or lets you flee a wild battle.
A wild battle, exactly. So teleport doesn't actually make you dodge attacks, right? So that's one thing. But even then, right, like there's still a massive like level difference between the two here.
Oh yeah.
So we still, even like pound for pound, like okay, like Pikachu might have Thunderbolt. He's not going to have the speed advantage. He's not going to have the damage advantage either. So Kadabra will wipe the floor with him here.
Yeah,
I think it's fair to say. So yeah, no, the battle does play it as it should. Sabrina would win. So Ash tends to the wounded Pikachu and he forfeits. The little girl then says he has to play with her and be her friend. The three of them start glowing blue and they get teleported somewhere else. Mm-hmm. We see tumble down houses, shrubs. Brock remarks that it's completely empty, so it's not Saffron City, crucially, because good God, we can't have greenery in Saffron City. That'd be stupid. Ash starts running around, looking around, wondering where he is. He starts opening a door and just enters a house, as you do.
Yep.
Again, very much a protagonist mindset there.
Absolutely, he's just the main character in a video game.
That's it, yeah. He's self-aware now.
Yeah,
that's how
he
it
gets
works.
to go in and break all the pots.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it works. That's a nice little link there to that game. But anyway, so they also laid down a dining table with pieces of cake that looked absolutely delicious. Ashton remarks that Sabrina wanted to play with them, but they're obviously going to have lunch first because
that makes sense.
That makes sense, sure. And cake for lunch, delicious, so nutritious. Brock says it's rude too, and he can't wait for Sabrina here. So he tries to chomp down the cake, and it turns out to be completely fake.
Yep.
Unintentional.
I'm very surprised Brock was the one that tried to chomp on the cake first.
Very strange, but I suppose someone had to, in a sense. They just roll him to the like, oh, you're hungry now. And breaks his teeth on it. Ashton walks into the bathroom and sees a girl in the bath, which is slightly embarrassing. He's very embarrassed, in fact, can't keep apologising enough. Says he thought that no one was home. The Pikachu starts tugging at his leg, and look at the mirror. And when he does, he sees the girl in the mirror looks like a doll, because she has the red rosy cheeks, the kind of the wooden face. The girl then turns around in the water, which is a bit creepy, to be fair. Ashton remarks she looks like a doll. And everyone going, yes, we know. As Missy and Brock rush to him saying that they're in a dollhouse. Brock explaining everything here is made of the plastic, including the food. And he's really devastated at that, by the way.
Yeah, the food more so than the whole fact that they're trapped inside this nightmare
a seemingly massive dollhouse, yeah. So you hear this then, this kind of this lead rumbling, and it's Sabrina and the girl opening the roof off the dollhouse and looming very large over it. So the girl keeps giggling, saying she can now play with them all. Hooray! Ash thinks that she's after getting really tall for a little girl.
Dear Christ.
I mean, no, pay attention, notice your surroundings. Missy corrects him, saying they've just gotten really small. Honey, we've shrunk the protagonists. The girl keeps giggling as Sabrina looks on. Her arm comes down to the dollhouse, tries to grab them, and they run away, narrowly dodging her hand. So as they're running for their lives, they realise that she had shrunk them with telekinesis and are now trapped in seemingly her toy box. Meaning that they're trapped, and Sabrina's definitely going to play with them. Like they actually can't get out because they know there's no escape from this.
This is where I think they missed a mark. Like they could have had any trainer that loses is in the toy box, and they could have had like areas littered with trainers that have been turned into dolls.
But you know, it would have been actually, now that I'm thinking of it, it wouldn't have been good if this was the end of the episode and the next episode is just them trying to get out of the toy box.
Oh yeah, they could have.
If they wanted, they could have filled this out. Like they could have had a 4 episodes into this, but it's kind of a pity in the end that they didn't do it that way.
Yeah.
Because like imagine like fucking Gary O could have been there.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh shit, if Gary got beaten by Sabrina, they all have to work together now to get there. That's pretty good. Like.
Well, Gary wouldn't lose to Sabrina.
No, but that's the thing. If this was like later on in the series, and you really wanted to show how strong Sabrina was,
you could have your butterfly trainer or your bug catcher trainer and your
AJ.
Yeah.
AJ would have been the father for that. Yeah. It's like, oh shit. It's like, goddamn fucking Sandslash didn't do the fucking thing.
But yeah, no, I would think they could have had like they could have gone real horror show with this.
They could have, yeah.
And shown like here's all the trainers that she's beaten.
And they're all like
and they're all dollified.
Yeah, exactly. Which we will see in a couple of weeks time. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So yeah, as they say that, then we zoom out to see Sabrina and the girl standing over this massive toy town, stretching over a long table. They don't have money for that, by the way. But, you know, I suppose like if you have the funds, if you're a gym leader, you can do whatever the fuck you want. Like you know. The girl keeps laughing as she sees her eyes are the same colour as Sabrina's, which is a bit of a clue for what's going on here. Everyone keeps running until they reach what Brock says is a dead end, but it's in fact a very strange, like a family picture of the little girl and her parents, which is again more little clues and little hints being thrown in here because if you're not watching the episode, the little girl and Sabrina kind of has a similar hair colour.
Yeah.
But like Sabrina is darker and like the little girl kind of like more of a darker green, whereas Sabrina's like much darker than that. So we hear more kind of crashing noises then as they stop. They turn around, they see the little girl walking towards them. They're actually in the town, towering over them, bouncing a ball, and obviously they're trapped. She stops saying she wants to play catch with them. She drops the ball and it starts rolling at speed towards them, which is a bit, oh shit, we're going to die. So just the last second, someone appears in front of them, and it's a jogger from before, telling them to align their minds with him. His eyes glow red as he shouts teleportation. Everyone disappears just before the ball hits.
He's a Pokemon.
Yes, he is in fact the Alakazam.
Yes.
Yes.
That steals my theory I was going to say.
Ah, shit. That would have been good.
Should have said it earlier.
Yeah. Everyone's Alakazams! They're all to get me! Yeah, I should have explained, but Burke wasn't wearing a tinfoil hat for some reason for this episode. This actually explains why now. So, everyone disappears just before the ball hits the frame picture and bounces back to the girl. She blankly says, "It was fun, but they should play again sometime." As fucking like the Exorcist.
I don't feel like that was even enough play. Like, if you're, looking to play with dolls, you just throw a ball at them and they run away. Like, how can you get bored of that? Like, you want to hit them.
She got 1 round of 3-pin bowling.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's just like such a short attention span.
Yeah.
I like they were criticising now her attention span rather than like, she's a creepy doll girl.
She's a Molly Dolly.
You're Molly Dolly, yeah, exactly.
Molly Dolly.
As if that makes it any better. Like, okay. Anyway, so Sabrina sternly looks on expressionless. The three walk back to the real Saffron City. Brock recognises straight away that they're back. Once they have their bearings, the jogger looking on. Ash thanks him for his help, but Missy asks why. The man says that Sabrina is a dangerous Pokemon trainer, warning he won't be able to help them next time because he'll be away for plot reasons. They'll be trapped in her toy box for eternity. He says to forget the crazy idea of challenging Sabrina and to leave Saffron City and completely forget the other gym that just happens to be next door. Ash says he can't do that, he needs the Marsh badge. So he's adamant, even if there are extra badges going around, he has to get the Marsh badge. Almost like out of point of principle. He just needs it. So the man says he'll never be able to defeat Sabrina, but Ash argues he needs a quicker attack before she uses her psychic powers. Because with a psychic, speed is crucial. You don't want them to be able to predict what you're going to do next.
Yeah, you want to just get those moves out before they can predict what you're going to do.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. Just like, okay, we're going to go with the speed of light. Fuck you. Let's see how quick that brain is. So the man lifts his head and shows his glowing eyes again. Ash starts to glow himself, and he gets dropped. Excitingly, he starts doing a thriller dance as well, which I found brilliant.
Meanwhile, Pikachu says, "Oh look, he's feeling brave. He's even willing to do a dance."
I love that. It's more of a case of, and then someone else is going like, "Oh, someone didn't change her underwear today. Someone called Delia. Oh, wait, she's not busy. Oh, I wonder why she's busy. Mystery to us all." So the man asks then if Ash can't defeat him, he'll have no chance against Sabrina. Ash sorts himself out, asks the man about his telekinesis and if he can teach him to use psychic powers. The man points his finger, and with a little glow, Ash is shoved away over to the ground. And this kind of repeats back and forth then. The man says if you're born with telekinetic powers, they can't be taught. That's an interesting thing to say, old man.
At an academy where people are training to be psychics.
Ash then, to be fair, that's why he's not allowed in, because he just ruins the surprise for them, But Ash isn't content with that, ignoring the warnings of his teammates. Slowly moving towards the man, he says he needs to have the guts to face Sabrina. He gets close, the man hurls Ash up in the air and down to the ground, saying he needs to wise up, guts do not matter when it comes to psychics. Which is true. It's almost like brains over brawn or something like that.
Muscle over mind.
Yeah, exactly. So Brock and Misty tell Ash to stop. He gets up again, starts approaching the man one more time. Keeps trying to freeze Ash in position with the next psychic attack, but Ash keeps crawling towards him. And at this point, the man kind of goes, "Ooh, hello." So apparently this guy is so stubborn and stupid.
Yep.
He's resisting my psychic attacks. But I suppose like if it's an attack on the mind.
Yeah, I was gonna say is like if there's not too much there to attack. If he's attacking the mind with Ash,
like he's able to read Ash's mind, so he can predict the attack, but Ash doesn't have a plan.
It's like Fry from Futurama.
Like, yeah.
The brain slugs can't affect him because there is no brain.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Or like zooming into Homer's brain, like.
Thank you. It was cold down there on the floor. Pleading that he needs to beat Sabrina for the March badge, Ash grabs the man's foot as he collapses to the ground. So he remarks, "Oh, you're one determined kid. Why can't I read your mind?" He says there might be one way of defeating Sabrina, but there's only one type of Pokemon that can defeat psychic types. Oh, didn't you get that wrong? If he catches a ghost Pokemon from nearby Lavender Town, he may have a chance. Ash repeats what he said, says thank you and passes out as the old man teleports away. Everyone else runs to Ash, gets him back on his feet. And Ash immediately tells him they're going to Lavender Town. The man appears on a nearby tree trunk and remarks that this kid might be the one to finally rescue
Sabrina. God, the guy's a pincer.
That's it. It's all been a trick all along. Yes, I'm the one pincer that can use psychic attacks.
Look, he was cold, you went into a tree.
Yes, it was a pincer that had action replay. That's what it was. Jesus Christ, what a proposition that is. The sun sets as the narrator catches up on the plot, the mysteries of the episode. They set off, Meowth trying to follow them with the frozen Jesse and James in tow, saying it's a real drag. Because again, we were so close. We were so close to a Meowthless episode, but alas.
Oh yeah.
And James suggests they contact the psychic hotline to end the episode.
I do think that at least one of the trio should have been left behind in the toy box, and that keep the horror tone going.
That they have to actually come back for them.
Yeah.
Well, in fairness, they kind of did that in the follow-up episode.
Oh, I know they do, but they could have one by
kept it
one.
going. Yeah.
So I just point out you could probably lose Brock sooner than you'd lose Misty.
Perhaps.
So,
Yeah.
Because it's not like, I don't know, kind of getting ahead of myself on this. Brock and Misty don't play too much of a role in the Lavender Town episode.
That is true, yes.
So you could have gotten rid of Brock, Ash and Misty now say, right, we have to go get a ghost so that we can save Brock.
Yes.
And so
I see what you mean, yeah. You could have just said, or even if Brock and Misty were just kept in toy box, it was Ash that was saved.
Yeah.
Ash has to do it himself, therefore that's a bit more character on him. So yeah, I see where you're coming from. But there's a lot of comedy in the next episode, so I think they kind of kept him in to get the banter going.
Some hilarious comedy.
Yes. Slapstick, there you go.
Yeah, okay.
Birdboss scoffing at Laurel and Hardy and the Marx Brothers there, they're spinning their grapes.
She didn't like Tom and Jerry.
Is this true?
I don't know what you... No.
Slapstick.
Oh, you're very defensive. Oh, you're very defensive of this.
Hello,
we will tap this. Hello. Oh, we're getting a lot from this now, aren't we? Yeah.
I know, I
Itchy and Scratchy, she turns off whenever the Simpsons have that on.
She's more of a worker and parasite type girl, yeah.
I will say in back in the days I had a novelization set of a number of episodes from the TV show written as books,
right,
but with more of a view from the Pokemon's point of view.
Okay.
So I don't know where I got them as a present, and I don't know what trolley they.
Well, you actually written in English, or was it just Bulbasaur?
No, there was English written, but the captions were all in Pokemon.
Ah, right.
But the you kind of got from the Pokemon's point of view of this kind of series. So what's actually happening in the toy box in the next episode. James has it up on screen there.
Well, there you go. How about that?
So there. But in the next episode was particularly well done in terms from the Pokemon point of view.
Yes.
Having read the novel version of it and then watching the episode, you actually don't get how
one leads into the other type. Yeah. I actually mean. That's fair enough. I can actually just see it there. It was Showdown in the Haunted Terror, was it?
Yeah.
So that kind of makes sense. Night in the Haunted Terror. There we go.
I think I had the one for Island of the Giant Pokemon.
But it's mostly from the Pokemon's point of view. So in the episode we do get to see what the Pokemon's point of view is. I think I had the entire set.
Wow. Yeah, this isn't really. I don't think I got the.
I definitely got it as someone's oh, you like Pokemon? Here's books. And I'm oh, cool.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, it's pretty cool. They're probably fucking antiques now at this age.
If I could find them, they'd probably be worth something. I don't know.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's jump into the Pokedex then. So we do have 2 new entries for the first time in a while, and it is of course Abra and Cadabra. So it goes without saying that Abra is obviously based off the phrase abracadabra, hence why the evolution. So here's a few things you might find interesting. So in the beta, now we mentioned some of the beta names for the Pokemon are quite funny. like LANY for coughing and wheezing. Funny enough, Abra and Cadabra were originally called Hocus and Pocus.
Oh, okay.
So that's what they were called there. And yeah, there's not much to say about Abra itself. But here's actually a question. Let's see if you kind of suss this out. What animal do you think Abra is meant to be?
Shrew.
Okay.
Yeah, I probably agree with that.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Again, there's not much in terms of what it could be, but people reckon it may be a goat.
I don't see that.
Yeah, so it's a very strange one, right? So it's a kind of like a few little kind of contrivances here, but they also might think it might be an opossum because it sleeps 18 hours a day.
Yeah, that makes a bit more sense.
And it's slightly feline as well, so you might think perhaps it's supposed to be kind of a cat-like as well. But like, if it was, it'd have to be like a Siamese, but it's definitely not the case there. But yeah, so I think the closest thing you'd probably say to Abra is that it's meant to be a possum.
Yeah, okay, I'd take possum over goat.
Yes.
I don't see a goat.
Neither do I now, in fairness. But I think the idea was that both of them, like goats and perhaps foxes, have a sort of a psychic like attachment, if you like. They're often used in kind of like a psychic mystic forms. But I think it's a possum as well, to be honest. If it was going to be any fucking animal, it'd be that, you know.
I think there's like I think it's a kitsune is a Japanese fox.
Yes.
And it kind of looks like that.
It's meant to be a nine, yeah. So
same as like
Ninetales.
Ninetales kind of has the same kind of facial
structure. Yeah, I know what you mean.
And I'm kind of thinking that because in Zelda there's Kitsune mask in Majora's Mask, and it's just how it looked. It kind of
it had a fox-like face, yeah. And Abra kind of has that face as well.
Yeah,
I know what you mean. Fun fact actually about it, right? So obviously Abra is called in most of the European languages, but in Japan it's called Casey, right? So the reason it's called that is because of a man called Edgar Cayce, who was a psychic famous for self-induced trances.
Okay.
So in Japan he's called Casey after a psychic.
Oh.
So there you go.
That makes sense.
Very. Now moving on to his evolved form, Kadabra. So again, same kind of gimmick here. Now this is actually a very funny story to Kadabra here, but again, in the beta he was called Pocus, and again, not very much like a kind of. This is more like a humanoid type shape. Obviously, the kind of whatever animal attachment is gone at this stage, but it still kind of has like that kind of fox-like face, if you like, and the kind of the moustache is there now, which has been used a few times for foxes as well for certain things, it's the symbols on the forehead and the abdomen are supposed to be for Zener cards, which is like for ESP and clairvoyance experiments. You know, like the stars and the shapes and all that, and so that's the kind of the gimmick there. Now, really funny story about Kadabra, right? So in 1999. When Pokemon was released, Nintendo was sued by known psychic and complete ponce Uri Geller.
Yep.
What?
Because
of Abracadabra.
Of Kadabra. So the Japanese name for Kadabra is Ungerer, which is supposed to be a corruption of Uri Geller.
Okay.
Right? So when Uri Geller and his people found out about this, he sued Nintendo for using his likeness as Kadabra because of the spoons.
Right.
Because remember, like Uri Geller around this time was doing like fucking like GMTV and bending spoons and pretending to be really smart, and it is essentially a case of like, well, you have spoons in the character, and naturally Geller saw that as copyrighted gimmick infringement essentially, and tried to sue Nintendo for that.
Okay, I can understand, but like I don't think he didn't win, surely.
No, of course not. No, definitely not. But it was a case of like, it was more a case of like.
Is it because he was annoyed that he was given a small penis?
Now that you've stop hovering over it, James. Jesus Christ, that's awful. No, I don't know if it's that. I think it's more of a case of
if the penis Kadabra had was bigger, would Uri Geller mind?
Why are you asking these questions? I don't want to know.
That's the stuff I want to know.
Well, then you stop looking at it then. Jesus Christ,
How
people.
can you not? It's unnecessarily there. How has this not been a thing that people talk about all the time?
Bert, but you'd be shocked to hear not many people in the normal world talk about Pokemon penises, and we don't really want to.
But they're on show. In this case, anyone who's listening or watching this, go Google a picture of Kadabra and see its penis.
Don't. Ignore her.
Just dead air.
Ignore this woman. and her weird fucking fantasies. Anyway, so yeah, exactly. So Kadabra was part of a lawsuit between Nintendo and Uri Geller, which I find hilarious. But there you go.
So a knock on from that was that after the suing incident, you can't get a Kadabra card anymore in the Pokemon card game.
Oh, that is a bit of a knock on, alright. Yeah.
Oh my god, I definitely had one.
I had a Kadabra as well.
Absolutely had
Couldn't
one.
get one after that original set.
Ooh. Oh, that's cruel. Because I know I had a Kadabra.
And I know my Pokemon cards are gone forever.
Yes, we were talking about it previously.
Just to remind you, I had a Mew.
Well, actually, I'm just seeing here, has he just retracted it?
Yes,
yeah.
It was a year, about 6 months ago to a year ago. Uri Geller retracted the ban that was put on the Kadabra card.
20 years is a long time, in fairness, to hold a grudge against a fictional fucking Pokemon. But there you go.
Tiny penis.
Uri Geller and his tiny penis. That's probably why the psychic in the game and the show had the weird accents, because it was just the assumption, well, like Uri Geller has a strange accent. He comes from Europe. Let's all make all psychics sound weird. But yeah, there you go, lads. So that is the first in the story of Sabrina and the psychic Pokemon that dominate Generation 1. So there you have it, lads. When we come back, we are indeed going to be going to Lavender Town and our journey to finding a ghost Pokemon to take on Sabrina, because bugs don't exist. Bugs are definitely not strong against psychic type. Ignore us when you say this. But that's irrelevant to the time at hand. So thank you very much for listening to this episode, and we will see you next time for it. If you have enjoyed us, obviously you may be listening to us on the Low Blows Network, so please follow for more of the same. Or you may want to check out their weekly wrestling show, where they talk everything that's been going on in the world of wrestling. Or maybe their Ask Low Blows, where they you can ask them a question and they will give you a definite answer. Whether it's a good or bad one is up to them. Or perhaps you're watching us on the Nerds Roast channel in video form. If so, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next week when we meet some ghost Pokemon. Ooh. Very spooky.